Well, it's a beautiful day here in Asheville, so I thought I'd come outside to do this next video. Now, I've been talking about why I love songwriters, and what I talked about last time was their creativity, how songwriters are part of that group of artists who are creative, who create something out of nothing, starting with a blank piece of paper, or for a songwriter, starting with silence. We got a runner going by in the background. He's a pretty brave fellow because we're on a mountain here and he's running uphill. He's a better man than I am. Well, he's in better shape anyway. But anyway, they start with nothing and they create something out of nothing. And that's one thing that I really admire about songwriters. And I want to share a few more things in this part two of why I love songwriters. Songwriters have courage. The performing songwriters I've worked with, they'll write a song, they've rehearsed it, they're going to play it in front of an audience, and they aren't really sure what kind of reaction they're going to get. So there's always that little bit of uncertainty. Even the most confident of songwriters still have that little, oh, I wonder if people are going to like this. Now you got to go on stage, you got to have some confidence, and you know that you've written good songs in the past, and so you got another one that you think is good, and you can be fairly certain that a certain number of people are going to like it, but there's always that little bit of uncertainty. So it takes a certain amount of courage to get up in front of people and present something that you have created, something that came from your heart and mind. And you're wondering, are people going to accept this? Are they going to be moved by it? Are they going to like it? And so there's a little bit of courage involved. Another thing I admire about the best songwriters that I know is that they are willing to take criticism, they're willing to change, they're willing to improve. They realize that they don't know everything. Maybe they know more than they did when they first started, but they're always willing to learn. I mentioned that Cheryl and I were members of the Nashville Songwriters Association International, NSAI for short. And sometimes a new person would come into the group and present a song they had written. And perhaps they were possessing a little bit too much self-confidence or an ego perhaps that was a little too big. And they would expect nothing but fulsome praise for their creations. Perhaps they had received such accolades from their friends and family, and they were expecting the same from their fellow songwriters. We'd listen to the songs politely, naturally, and then offer, in as gentle and kind a way as possible, some areas that that song might improve, and maybe just a little criticism, some things that they could fix to make the song better. Well, some of these songwriters were so taken aback by actually hearing something less than glowing and positive about their work that they would sit there glumly and listen and leave the meeting, and we'd never see them again. And that's a shame, because had they stuck around and learned to accept that criticism, those critiques that were always meant to encourage and help them improve, then they would have become stronger songwriters. Not that the songs they wrote were bad necessarily. It's very rare that somebody would come into the group with a song that was so bad that every part of it needed improvement. No, there'd be some good ideas, but maybe there'd be a line in there that bordered on the cliche and it should have been fixed, and so on. But they didn't want to take that criticism, and so they left and they never came back. The songwriters that I really admire are the ones that are willing to grow, to change, to acquire new skills, and to work really hard at improving themselves in the craft of songwriting. Don't get too many cars on the road here, but that does happen occasionally. But it was such a beautiful day that I just had to come out here. And one final thing that I really admire about songwriters is that they're fun to hang around. It's fun to hang around with songwriters. Cheryl and I used to go, when we were in Florida, to the monthly songwriters night at a place called Nolan's Irish Pub. So if you're ever in Cocoa Beach, you should go to Nolan's Irish Pub, even when there's not a songwriters night. It's the first Monday of every month. And it's put on by a gentleman named Sam Tritico. I'm going to put a link to his store. island music in Merritt Island, Florida, which is right next door to Cocoa Beach. Great guy is Sam. Wonderful musician, and has faithfully supported the songwriting community in Central Florida now for well over 10 years or more. I know the Songwriters Night's been running for at least 11, 12 years, and we were privileged to be a part of that from almost the very beginning. And how much fun it was to hang out with our fellow songwriters, talk about the craft of songwriting, play our songs for one another. There's nothing like playing your songs for a group of songwriters that are there to listen to your original material and really encourage you and appreciate what you're doing. And we miss that. We really do miss the Songwriters Nights. And hopefully there'll be some things like that up here in Asheville that we can become involved with. But songwriters, they're just fun to hang around with. They're fun to work with. And I can't express how much I love songwriters. And of course, I'm married to one, as you probably know by now. So in future videos, we're going to talk more about the craft of songwriting. And I want to introduce you to some of the songwriters that I admire, some that maybe you know, and maybe some that you've never heard of. So, hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I'm going to go back into the studio and get to work. Thanks for watching, and I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with those that you know that are songwriters that you think might benefit from learning more about songwriting from somebody who really loves working with songwriters. Thanks for watching.